When the spread of COVID-19 pushed Missoula Public Library to abruptly close the doors of 301 East Main Street to the public this March, it soon became clear that they would never reopen. With the move into the new building imminent, many patrons visited the old building during the early months of 2020, unaware that it would be their last time in the library they had known for more than 40 years. Much about the library has changed over the 4.5 decades it has lived in this building, but the dedication to the public remains the same. Join us as we look back at a little bit of the history of 301 East Main Street and look forward to where the library goes from here.
Well, my name is Vaughn Stevens, and for many years I was the reference librarian at the public library. I started working at Missoula Public Library in 1970 in the old building, which is now the Art Museum. And then we moved into this building in 1974. What was fun is that our opening day was April 1st. I always liked that little note. I originally started in 74 as a work-study student, filing cards in the card catalog.
I first started with this library when they had two PCs. One of them was a PC at the reference desk and one in cataloging.
Circulation desk in front was basically the whole front of circulation office area now.
We moved to the self-check areas, got rid of the big circulation desk that we had where the books came in and went out.
The middle of the library used to be all open with tables. Current magazines were kept there. Reference was up front in that area at one time and then moved back here.
When I started, there was no web alley, there was no YA. There was two garages rather than one in cataloging. None of these offices back here, the director's offices, Montana room was smaller.
The YA room was not there. The young adult room was not there. And there's two offices over there now. One of those was the computer room, so it was just a little tiny space, I don't know, 4, 6 computers.
Just when I was hired, there was an architecture firm here in Missoula that was drawing up the plans to do Web Alley. Downstairs, where we see so much congestion today, used to just be a bare hallway that went to the staircase and the elevator, and people came upstairs.
When we moved in here, we used a card catalog. And the card catalog used to be between the two pillars just outside the circulation office. I still miss the card catalog, though, because it was serendipity. You'd be going through looking for something, you'd find all sorts of other things. And when you go into a computerized catalog, that doesn't happen.
For many, the years spent with this incarnation of MPL will always be part of how they remember the library. As with anything, everyone will remember it a little differently, but for most, the community that will be traveling along with the books comes to mind first. Still, the years at 301 East Main Street are central to many people's memories of the library.
A lot of good ones, a lot of bad ones, a lot of sad ones, but it's kind of a mixed bag.
Oh, I'll miss lots of things because this job is my passion. I love working here. This has become just a real gem, and because it was always patron-centered, it has it really holds my heartstrings. We'll bring a lot of that same kind of things to the new building, and the new building will be wonderful also, but you always develop things that you love, you hate to leave behind, but that's the way it goes.
Well, I would say one of my favorite memories is when my kids were small and I was bringing them to story time. And I remember Betty Ammon, who is a previous director, but before she was director, she was one of the youth services librarians. And she and Karen Gonzalez just did such wonderful story times. And it was just so much fun for our kids.
I really loved, working with the kids, obviously. That was the best part. And so I loved the summer reading program where we gave out reading folders and the kids got prizes. That was always fun to plan.
During one of our big reads, it was the Maltese Falcon, was the big read. And I got my teenagers together and they did a staged reading of excerpts that I pulled out of the Maltese Falcon with hats, fedoras, and a little bit of costuming. And we had a little bit of an audience. It wasn't a big audience, but it was fun. It was cool.
Characters, we liked to sometimes draft either library employees, bookseller employees, or children of bookstore and library employees to wear the costumes, which was always fun.
Mona told me she had a big gnome house at her house. Did I want to see it? And I went and saw it and I loved it. And she's like, we can take this to the library if you want for Christmas. I think it would be a nice addition. So in November or so, I would drive up to Mona's in the bookmobile and she would pack up the gnome house and all the stuff that's in it. And we'd come back to the library and she would set it all up.
One of the most special things to me is when we finally got the gnome house as a part of the library. And you can never get too tired of looking at it. It's so cool.
This, I'll have fond memories of this building, but I'll be glad when it kind of grows up and moves into something else.
It was in this building that Missoula Public Library's reputation was built, not only in Missoula, but in the state of Montana.
All of the programs that we have had, physically inside the building have, shown that, everything from children's story times to the memory cafes, and everything in between, book clubs, everything, have provided places for people to engage politically, socially, intellectually. It's all important.
What I really will miss is actually being in this building. I loved working here. I loved working with the patrons. We had wonderful staff. We still have a wonderful staff. This is the library I worked in my entire life, even at work study. When I started work study here, filing cards, they had just opened in I think spring, and I started that fall. So I didn't ever work in the old building. I've only worked in this one, so it's very much home to me.
The story of any library here in the first quarter of the 21st century is one of change. From archives of books to community internet access points to public programming centers, the modern library adapts, always with the goal of providing the public with useful and relevant information.
Missoula Public Library grows as they see a need. The library bike to go to the market, a library bike to maybe go to a park and have a story hour.
I think the entire community uses this. I think they use it for untold reasons. I wouldn't even know all the reasons they use. Some people come in just for the social contact because they want to see other people. Some people do just come in and grab a book or a DVD or whatever they're looking for that day. A lot of people come in and use the programs, especially parents of young children and grandparents of young children.
One of my friends always called this library the poor man's university, and in a way, it is. I always used to laugh at him, but I think he might be right. It's only taken me 30 years to realize it, but I think he might be right.
Took us to the next level was the excitement that happens in this building, the energy when you walk in. And there might be a group of kids that are coming in for a classroom visit, or there is a separate stand-up exhibit, or you come in from the parking lot and there's something going on in the large meeting room that spills out into the lobby area, web alley, and the coffee shop. So there's a community center, and people value coming. So I love the energy that was created.
I'm really looking forward to seeing what influence this has on the Missoula community. I think Missoula, as much or more than any other community in Montana, loves its library.
There's so much research out there, plus our own anecdotal evidence about a gathering place, the need for a gathering place. Even if you're not gathering with other people, it's a place that gathers people together. So you may come here and not talk to anybody, but it's a gathering place where you can come and be in community. Where are those? The mall? Not really. It doesn't have the same atmosphere. Churches for very specific groups of people. Clubs. you kind of have to, you're doing something. When you go to that club, you're going there for a reason. But a space that has just this realm of possibility. Oh, we'll serve you this way, we'll serve you this way, we'll serve you this way. Bring your kids in, bring your elders in. There aren't many places like that.
Though the building at 301 East Main Street has served Missoula County faithfully since 1974, it has fallen behind the realities of a modern library in a quickly growing community. The need for flexibility to adapt to changing technology was not built for originally and has finally caught up to MPL.
We have outgrown this building. We outgrew this building years ago.
Oh, I'm looking forward to more space for more people not to have to work in such confined spaces. The laptop vending machines and not having a web alley. Web alley is a really congested place. It was the only place there was to put computers for the public when that became something that the public libraries were doing.
This building can't handle all the change that is happening so fast in our world. We need a new building that we can make all these adjustments to. This one can't do the wiring and everything that is so important anymore.
Probably the past 6 years, every time we buy an item, we have to discard an item because we don't have room on the shelves for them. We have, about 46 or 48 chairs for people to sit in this library, and to serve a population of over 100,000.
There are a number of reasons that it is important that we have a new building in Missoula. I think number one is just enough space to accommodate our community. We have seen over and over over the last 10, 15 years, overuse of this space, inability for people to use the space because there isn't any open rooms, any open space.
The new space will still be the library as Missoula has always known it: book archive, public research tool, and public programming venue. But with the new increased capacity, resources, and in-house partners, the library can look forward to expanding services to meet the changing needs of the future.
The windows, the space, the amount of light that will be there, the amount of seating that will be there, having 4 floors to have different programs, have different energy, have partners come in.
I think patrons will find out that access to all the meeting spaces that we have in the building, all of the kids' support, the serendipity that's going to arise because of the partners that are in this building. It's going to, I believe, it's slowly going to dawn on Missoula how interesting this library is.
What people really use it for is the programming. I mean, the story times, the tiny tales. You guys are doing tons of adult programming now. We didn't used to do that much adult programming.
The need that we're feeling now from people because the library is closed is really revealing about what libraries do for people. They're just a place to hang out safely for some people. They're a place to search for jobs. They're a place to get together with other people. I think we're going to be able to be more and more to more diverse groups of people and handle more books and handle more traffic, handle events that we wouldn't have been able to handle.
Bringing partners in from a community and really expanding our library programming, our library visual, helping our community in many, many ways. And, the partners may seem focused on children's and young people events, but community TV being MCAT being here is very, very important. But having a business center, having somebody that works to help with social work issues. A library is a place that people come to because A, they've always felt comfortable, and B, they get the answers and the information that they need.
We look forward to our continuing mission providing Missoula with the information, assistance, and answers you need. As we start this new chapter in the history of Missoula Public Library, we hope you will share it with us.
Personally, I never knew that I was going to have a job that fit me like this. it's a gift. It's an amazing gift. So I feel very lucky to be here, and I've told people I'll be here in my wheelchair, but I'm not going to be in a wheelchair. But I will be here for a long time. It's really satisfying.